Yo, quesadillas with cheese, please. Good morning,
Troublemaker.
everyone. Let's see on Block Alex. Yes. Oh, don't worry. We'll mess with him. Or I'm gonna be muting him all across the board.
Be nice to me. I didn't do anything.
Oh man, how is it going? How is that weekend crazy weekend bounce?
So up only since the weekend. I mean, I gave a long in my Discord just thinking, hey, little break of structure, move up here, probably retesting, and then boom, like up 3.5%, creating a lot of liquidity to the upside. So I think the short is the play right now, but everybody wants it to go up. So everybody's buying this. You can tell, like the pressure, the chop, the volatility, I guess you can call it. It's aggressive. Aggressive. What do you think?
Absolutely. Oh man, but I do have a prediction. If by tomorrow we haven't broke to the upside, I think we're gonna be going down.
Jobs,
Yeah. Eh,
jolts.
let me get started here, and I'm gonna be passing it to you. Also, I want to bring up Trump Media. Man, it's been ripping. I'll look for it in a second, but I mean, this is what I was talking about on Piper Academy. Let me just bring it up on the daily. Here we go. We haven't broke the previous highs, right? And we've constantly trying to take those. We all also know that we have a huge trend line coming in down here, and we've been, of course, like breaking back and forth. Ultimately, I think we're gonna see a breakout. Ultimately, that doesn't mean that we cannot retrace. At this point, I believe that we could be looking something like maybe this pattern here without this big movement, which is a sweep of the lows before taking the next highs. And I'm still looking at the dynamic reactor at 63. So if we're not able to break this by tomorrow, I would say, I believe that we could be going for the sweep of the lows and then a movement to the upside. I think we could be talking about November, December, this kind of movements. In the 4 hour though, I mean, I still hold my analysis, but we have once again broken the trend line yet another time, right? I mean, we have first breakout, not holding, breaking back down, right? Breakout, not holding, breaking back down. Breakout, like the drill, right? So should we be holding? Absolutely. So we either break or make at this point. Let me just bring up my other Bitcoin chart here, and I'm gonna be talking about also about that one. And here we go. This is it. So based on the previous highs, which are those one there, I think that if by tomorrow we're not taking them, I think the chances for a reversal are more than clear to go visit dynamic reactor or at least somewhere around 63, 64 area, somewhere around here. And if I start looking at where my big support areas are, well, 64, right? Very close to that 63. It's not that far away. What else do I have here? Well, big chunks of areas right here. Once again, around, what is it, 64, 400. Maybe I might be adjusting my target. Who knows? Once again, liquidity area or smart money areas right here. What else do we got? Same. I think I would say more of the same, right? Another predictive ranges. So all of the things are just combining right there at the 65, 964 area. So I don't know. I would like to start to feel very bullish because of the movement that we just had. I mean, if we go to a cleaner charting here, well, let's go to this one. There we go, much better. I would be calling this as a double bottom. I don't know, but I mean, it's just so close one to each other that this looks like a double bottom, and the neckline will be right here where we're struggling to break. So if we're able to break it, the measure moves or measure target will be somewhere around 72, but we're just not able to. And I think we are running out of steam at this point. And I don't know, I would love to see a big body candle here and then going for that retrace to consolidate that. But I'm just not seeing it. I also think that maybe shorting this area will be nice, but I'll be waiting for the flip of the ribbon or at least a 50-minute reaction. And I've been looking at this area because we already have kind of like a reaction. And my trigger on the 15 minutes will be break to the zero line. That will be basically it. Because other than that, I will be saying that we already have broken the trend line. We have confirmed a candle of a candle below the trend line. We already have a bunch of big seekers, reversals, bearish divergence, and further move to the downside. And most importantly, look at that compression on the clouds. So that means a big movement is coming. Up or down, we don't know. The cloud doesn't tell us. But what it's telling us is that the compression will be in the result of bursting of a price action. My guess, it will be to the downside. It will be to grab some liquidity down here. And let me just do my, oh, I don't get them. I need to add my liquidations from Chart Prime. By the way, guys, this is a free tool if you want to add them. This is one of my favorite. So just do Chart Prime all together. All together and look for liquidations. Just click once, wait a little bit for it to load. And it just, I know it's a little bit of a mess, but I mean, man, looking at this, everything makes sense that we keep pushing forward because grabbing the liquidity right down here, unless retail is not able to buy, I don't know. This is conflicting data for me a little bit. I'll still go for the short to the dynamic reactor for the best case scenario. Going through the zero line will be my indication for a short. But if we start taking these highs right here, well then I want to see take that high, bounce from here, and this is gonna be my entry for a long on the 15 minutes. But you are the 15-minute specialist. So what are you looking at the charts?
Oh man, he thinks I'm a specialist. That's your first problem. Oh. Oh man. So looking at Bitcoin, yeah. So you're saying 60 69 or 49? That's what you're looking for price to come down to?
Yeah, in the 15 minutes 68, I would say sharp. And on the 4 hours 64.
And you also think this is the double bottom, yeah?
4 hours, yes.
Okay. So you got to listen to OC. He's smart. He's smarter than us, so we have to wait. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, looking at this as a range, right? So if we're looking from, the middle of October, that's from here, right? Middle October to now, this is a range, right? So really, if we're treating it like a range, we should be shorting up here, right? In general. And if we're treating this as a low, we should be longing down here, right? So, and it's hard to long after a weekend of up only. It's very hard to long. However, there's some things that are pointing out here that why price can come down into here. So we have like a CME gap down below us. That's one thing. We created a gap into here over the weekend. So CME is futures. It doesn't trade on Saturdays. So you have a gap that can be created. And that gap has been created just below us here. So that's typically what happens when price over the weekend moves in one direction or the other. If it moves down, you typically create a gap above you. If it moves up, like today or like this weekend, you have created a gap below us. So there is a gap. Now, this isn't 100%. I don't trade just okay, but this is just understanding where does this reside, right? So we do have a CME gap below us, and it has been pretty much up only since Friday, since we came down. And this was, I believe, the USDT and Israel attack on Iran, this wick here. I believe so. I'm not 100% sure. Um, but that's what I. Yeah, yeah. That was the one. Yeah, yeah. That was the one. Okay, yeah. So this was there. So if we go over to our Bitcoin price, that was in here, right? So that means our CME gap is over here between here, right? So this was created on Saturday, all of this price action. That's our gap within here, right? So typically we're looking for price to return to this gap and fill the gap. Okay. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen, but that's something to be aware of. So we want to just, kind of stack confluences uh so so we can have a better understanding. So here's our range, right? We understand there's big support here coming in right around 67 700. So we could be looking for potential longs if we come back down into this area where volume really starts to chop. Now, the number one thing that I'm telling my community and you guys is you got to be paying yourself. If you're trading this environment right now, you have to be very, very, very cautious, okay? Because it's going to look at this. It's just stalling out here. Then it's going to either wreck people going long late, which it's trying to do right now. Coming back, it could be breaking out, retesting the value area high for continuation. These are all things that are on the table right now. Okay, so my idea is that we have created a lot of liquidity. Now, I gave the long trade setup from here on the weekend, which was absolutely incredible. Um, but I was only looking for this thing to come back to our fib retracement from swing high to swing low in here and looking for it to come up into this area here. That was the trade setup given on Friday. And you know me, I don't trade on the weekends because this takes forever. And it has turned into an absolute banger of a trade. Okay, not intentional, but that's what we try to do is we try to position ourselves with a good trade, looking to let it ride a little bit longer than expected, where it can turn to be quite lucrative if you do take trades like this. But all we've done over the weekend really is that, like, this to me, when you look at this, we have healthy price action here. Oops, sorry. Higher high, higher low, higher low, higher. So right here, healthy price action. Now, boom. Okay, so boom means boom back. Okay, boom boom, right? Boom boom. I don't know if you watch those commercial zoom zoom Mazda, but this is liquidity, right? So 1, 2, 3 are all targets for price to come back to. Okay, whether we bounce from here or whether we bounce from here or whether we bounce from here. So these are just ideas, right? So far, up only, right? Up only. Donald Trump speaking at Madison Square Garden, Joe Rogan, everybody bullish, right? Uh, Election season, geopolitical threats. There's a lot of shit going on around. Uh, can you show how to chart volume profile? What is your starting point for the volume profiles? Yeah, absolutely. And where we're looking for price to go. Now with the volume profile, for me, this one, I always want to identify what volume I want to grab. So I want to grab all the volume within this area, right? Doesn't matter if I grab it from over here, but for me, I like to go to a specific date. So I went to the Monday the 14th right here. So Monday 00 right here. And that allows me to, I always want to go to a specific date. So this would be our 2-week volume profile, right? Our 2-week, because I've gone all the way back to the Monday where it started. So this is 2 weeks. Right? You want to keep it somewhat confined to an area so it's more accurate. I'm not going to just pull this in here and be like, okay, well, we'll see what we do with that, right? So that's just the way I do it, is that I always like to go, if we want to go to the weekly, right? So we go to Monday of the beginning of last week. This would be our Monday weekly volume profile, right? So we can see, right? But if I want to capture the data of the candles up in here and up in here, I'm going to have to go back to at least back to here to capture that volume, right? So you could go back to here. But for me, I would definitely try to go back. Oops, wrong tool. I would definitely try to go back to a starting point, which would be like a weekly kind of starting point. So I go back to the Monday, and that's kind of how I pull it. And then you can pull them for like the daily. You can pull them for the 3-day, which is another good one. Especially if you go like Monday to Wednesday, that's a good one. But you want to be within some sort of restrictions to allow you to pull accurate data. The key thing though is if I'm looking to identify ranges, right? So if I want to get this range, I know I'm going to have to include these two highs in here. So that's very important. And it's the same with our VRVP that we use at Chart Prime here, right? Where I don't want to be missing these candles back there. I want to have the dynamic of all of the candles here, so I get all the volume that I need. So I know where key supports are. I know where this is a retest here coming back in, looking for a bounce off of here, right? Because we have big volume here, so I could be looking for a potential long in here. It works the exact same way, right? But it's dynamic, so I want to make sure that I'm including all the candles on the screen. If I confine this to something like this, I'm not going to get as clear data where this isn't pulling data from all the candles that I want to have data on. So it's very similarly. See, this isn't giving me a lot, right? But I want to zoom out, so I include at least these highs up in here, right? Most likely I want to include this too, right? This is quite significant, and as you can see, a very key level. Right now I'm looking for a long. I am starting to I got into half a position just now. Okay. I might take profits a bit early, just letting you guys know. But you know me, I'm scalping. So right now we've come down, retested key area, buy up area, looking for a potential bounce from this low here. I am only in a half a position, so I can ladder in coming down into here. But I am looking for support to be found in this area and for this low to be hold. This is a strong low in my opinion, and I am only looking to take this up to possibly the chop in here or up into our liquidity from the previous ranges, which is right up here at 70,000. Boom. So we have liquidity, and then we have mitigation of the previous highs on a macro. Okay, so I am starting to ladder into a potential long trade setup right now and looking for this thing to come higher, but we'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I have quite a big bit of wiggle room for this one right now. So if I zoom out here on our 4-hour, what do I mean by liquidity? What do I mean by these areas, right? So if we're using our tools here, we put on our Dynamics Dynamics Pro here. We take a look. Where's liquidity? Liquidity resides up here. It's a negative delta, suggesting I'm going to get an initial rejection. Okay, which is fine. Okay, negative delta, as you can see, initial rejection. I'm looking for continuation. This is very much up only. I'm not sure if we come back in here. We'll have to see. But you know me, I'm looking for a little sweep of the highs here at 69.5, and then a sweep coming into the liquidity up here at that area from previous ranges. Okay, looking for that sweep at 70,000. I don't know if we'll get there. I'm just trying to position myself accordingly. To me, this is very bullish sentiment. I'm not sure if this is the false move, if we are going to come back down before we continue. That's very much on the table. However, just waiting right now. Let's see if price will allow me to take advantage of this during our session today. So looking to getting long here. Come on, button work. Right here at a key level. Right now my stop is like down here, and looking to get up here, but I'm looking to add a little bit more throughout this so I can bring this down to here possibly. Okay, so we'll see how it goes, but in very, very tight for now, and we'll see how that goes. Looking for this continuation in this low to hold. If this low fails to hold here, okay, so if this low fails to hold here, this is a little trick I got for you guys, okay? So if this fails to hold here, and you can see that I'm long here, right? So if we come down and we push down and we sweep this low here and we mitigate this low, meaning we close below this low here, okay, which would be a break of structure, okay? Then, because I have a lot of wiggle room, right? Then I can close this at break even. Okay? You got to be committed to this though. If we close below this low here, doesn't mean I'm adding to the long and looking for this thing to go to the moon. No, it means I'm wrong. This is an invalidation of this trade. Losing this low, okay, means I'm wrong, but price moves like this, does it not? Right? So if we come back and we retest this area here, right? So we drop, we retest, I can close out the trade, protecting my downside. Okay. However, because I'm in half a position right now, and if we bounce, I'm still exposed to make money, right? So I can get in here, look for this to continue, understanding where I am wrong, so that if we do come back up, I can get out. Okay, that's a little trick I want to share with you guys, but this is allowing myself to be in the trade but not overexposed, having the same 300 to 900 ratio. If I do choose to add, right now this stop loss is 300, but typically my stop loss is like this at like 300. Okay, so this is what allows me to move because I'm in half a position. I have a lot more wiggle room. Okay, if this comes down and it closes below here and bounces back up, I'm out of the trade. Very simple, right? If it comes down here and it does one of these, or it does like whoop whoop, and maybe it wicks down and it doesn't close below this low, I can add to my position here and take that up. Or if it bounces from here where we're at, I'm in the trade, so I make money. Okay, just a little bit of insight to how I do it. If I'm taking like a B setup, this is in an A plus setup. My A plus setup, so you guys have it, is down below here. We have our key area in here. We have a value area high for the weekly coming in here. Okay, we also have a golden pocket coming in here as well. Wrong tool. Boom to boom. That was off of this. This actually has come up a little bit, so we can actually raise this a little bit. Sweep of these lows, golden pocket area, and a value area high in here. Also, retesting previous highs within this area over here. So looking for this to come into here. This is a very big, interesting zone if we are to see continuation of this move. If we aren't, we're going to lose this low. We're going to retest and drop. That's what I would expect, okay? I also have some trend lines coming in here. I'm just off this low here, pushing up so we can come into this area as well if it does decide to bounce. We gave the long from over here on the weekend, and it took forever to play out, but it played out quite nicely. So that's nice. But we know that below these lows over here, that's where the CME gap is. That's where a lot of liquidity is. Okay, so if we lose this low here, we have to expect that this is going to be taken at 67.4. And that's how I would be trading the short-term time frames, okay? What do you think, OC? I can't hear you. You're too busy yelling at your wife.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
Oh man, looking for memes. I was looking for memes. No, not really. But you're missing out on all the all the paper that we throw at the back of the classroom, right? No, like I really agree with you. I really like that you're already into a position and that you have a secondary possible entry, right, between that big room. I really like it. You know what? I was not considering that, although I was actually kind of like considering today being chilled out, maybe not jumping to any major trade unless I see a clear direction. That being said, bouncing zones for a long. Let me just bring my chart up. And what I would rather start looking at instead of Bitcoin, since I'm going to be taking kind of like the risk, will be altcoins, right? And between those altcoins, I was looking at a couple of things. Like, for example, I before the weekend, I was looking at 1 inch. That 1 inch trade pull out nicely and up entering here, and then well, then it did not went all the way up, by the way, but create a big dumping here before the weekend, right? And then what happened, we've been just having a very nice movement to the I mean to the upside within this channel. So I am looking at a possible trade on altcoins. Just a what is it? A wee little thing.
a wee little thing, 1 inch, you know?
Nice. Oh man. So uh All right. The thing is that I could be maximizing my profits when talking about entering for a risk, right? On Bitcoin, since my interests are going to be a little bit higher or bigger, I am actually looking for that retracement. And therefore, I mean, we are even kind of like a breaking here. And if I start adding my indicators, we're losing, not confirmed yet, but we're losing the reactor right down there, right? Also, I mean, we're in the middle of nowhere on support and resistances, but we also have some support at this area. Are we gonna make it? Well, then I'm betting a little bit more for the continuation for a short, for the slight movement here, and that will be taking me somewhere lower for the sweep of lows. That's what I'm expecting. And on Bitcoin, it seems like you nailed it. I mean, it is just retracing. Although I'm below the zero line, I will be waiting for a little bit farther movement to the downside. If not, I'm gonna be okay with that. Maybe I can jump into one of my two accounts for a lower time frame, and then the other one for the higher time frame. I still don't know. I still want to see confirmation. Confirmation. Maybe if I see this, I mean, this week or this candle closing at, I don't know, a big wick to the downside or at least an indecision, and then seeing another green candle with maybe that flip of the ribbon, that will be my late entry indication for this one. But also, I think we should be prepared for a possible cricket bottom, head and shoulders area here if we bounce from here. I mean, we could be making that movement on the lower time frame. So I'm gonna be moving with cautious, very cautious right now. I don't know. Today I don't feel the pump. Might be because I haven't had my coffee, my morning coffee, but I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm not feeling it today. You know what? That doesn't mean that I'm not gonna be taking the trades if I don't see the opportunity. But as far as pushing it, uh, I might be taking the day off, just to say the least, right? Just waiting, chilling out, and see how that plays out. I feel bearish as you.
I like that.
Hey, what's up, Oba? Let two bears, nice. But yeah, I mean, I to be honest, I don't see any flaws on your, and that's why I call you a specialist, my friend. You are a specialist. Are there any flaws that I can maybe just bring up or argue against your strategy because it's very well thought out and planned out. I mean, you already are jumping into a meaningful. I never click here. Meaningful area to bounce, right? And also you are looking for a farther movement area downside so you can maybe re-enter. I mean, your stop loss is pretty far away, compensating for the possible target. So that's I mean, that's it. But on my side, I'll just stay today maybe out of this movement until I see these areas being taken. If I'm wrong and this is just a fake out, I'll re-enter right when we're breaking back inside and not rejecting. So closing inside this channel in here, that'll give me the heads up to at least grab a little bit more on the upcoming movement to the upside. But other than that, I think I'll just sit back and watch today. Nice. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Alex? Do you feel the pump of Monday? Do you feel it like, or are you also kind of
I
like
think Monday, like what?
I don't know, it's not too shiny today.
I think Monday's false move Monday. So if we get a move now and then dump tomorrow for the rest of the week, uh, quite possible. I just try to stay. For me, it's staying within my time frame, staying within what I'm looking for. Uh, it's going to be critical, in my opinion, to surviving in this crazy, crazy market. So I think being patient is always a good option, right? I mean, you don't always have to be in a trade. I think it's actually quite stupid to always be in a trade. The patient trader will be a profitable trader, right? Like I haven't taken a trade all morning because of this price action. Like even on my live streams, we didn't take a trade, right? And I think that shows, right? Like if I'm going to show my chart here and what we're looking for here, it's like it shows like why would you be trading something like this, right? This is nasty, right? Look at this, right? This is we stayed out of this all morning, okay? And there's multiple like if you're trading market structure and what you're looking for. Okay, so you're like higher low, higher low, higher low, break of structure to the downside. Does that mean you're shorting here, right? And then look, comes back for you quite quickly here. Okay, break of structure yet again, continuation of downtrend. Oh, look, bullish divergence here at a key level. Okay, now trying to push up, create higher highs, higher lows, break out of this trend line. Can we see that continuation here, right? Leaving liquidity up above here, right? Like it's so cluttered, right? It's so cluttered. That's why this morning it took no trades, right? Because you push up here, you know everybody's buying the top here. Everybody's buying the top here. So at minimum, they're coming here. At minimum. That's why I got long in here, right? Because we know that bare minimum, they're coming for everybody in here who's riding this pretty little uptrend this morning. And if they didn't pay themselves, they're fucked, right? So what we understand now is that, hey, there's still bullish momentum. People are still hopeful. Let's not get it twisted. Everybody's bull runs on, blah, 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 blah. Breakout, 70K is coming. Pack your bags, bullshit. You can see it everywhere on Twitter, on all that. So, yes, we're supposed to be contrarian, but also we're supposed to be positioned that if it happens, we need to position ourselves to ride the trend, right? Because I'm telling you, if you trade direction of the trend, it will add at least 5% to your win rate, minimum. If you're trading an uptrend and you're getting long, instead of taking these shorts, okay, because there's shorts in here, right? If you're taking the long, you have a much better chance of making money, in my opinion, right? And that will add much. That's why the dynamic reactor is so strong. You go on like an 8-minute, you put on your dynamic reactor. Let's look at it. I love the 8-minute dynamic reactor for short-term time trading. Look at this thing. So you buy, you buy, you buy. Where are we now, OC? We buy, right? So
Yes.
it's confluence, right? And it's a trend. The trend is your friend. Either we're consolidating or we're trending. When we're trending, we want to ride the trend. That's always going to be, as a trader, you're 80% of the time you are range bound, okay? You're doing this, right? But when you start to break and you trend down or you trend up, right? You want to jump on that trend. You don't want to try to um, trade against that, right? You want to wait for a clear-cut reversal, which is what we have in mind here. If we lose this low here, right? We're trending up. If we lose this low here, we have broken the trend. Therefore, we're looking for the retest and to get short. Okay? Very clear, right? So, right now, we are still in an uptrend, in my opinion. Yes, we've taken some lows, but this would be my significant low, right? And acceptance back into what we talked about at the beginning, the value area, right, of this trend. So if we are at the value area high right now, and this is the value area low, this would be the value area within here that we're trading in, right? That would be the trading. This would be your trend, right? But we are trending up in this area, right? So now we are looking for potential shorts. But if we are to break this range that we are in now, that we have massive amounts of buying pressure that we saw coming in here, double bottom, pushing out, breaking structure to the upside. Okay, we are either looking for this and continuation because we have mitigated these highs here. So on a more macro scale, we are looking for this thing as a continuation because we have come up, we have come down, we've put in a higher low, and now we have put in a higher high. We are looking for either a higher low or we're looking for higher prices, right? It's very simple, keeping it as simple as possible and looking to take advantage of price action. And that's it, right? We know that there's very, very much bullish sentiment in the market. So we want to try to ride that, because if we can't time when it's going to break out, all we can do is position ourselves with good risk management in order to catch that move. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. Doesn't mean it's going to pump from here, but it does seem nice. I might take a little bit of profit off and look to re-add if we do come lower right now. But just playing what's given to me, knowing it's volatile, not trying to be overexposed, just trying to participate, right? Uh, and when we participate, we give ourselves a chance to manage our risk, but also to make money, right? And that's, I think, the most important thing. If we want to go over what else we got going on, which is very important, I think if we take a look at the Russell, okay, so the Russell is basically penny stocks, okay? Today is expanding. Okay, so we've had a higher high put in from the Russell, which is bullish in my opinion. So this is a good sign of continuation. We still want to see expansion up into 2,300 points. Okay, we haven't seen that yet, but this is a good sign. We have held our lows in this bigger, more macro uptrend. Okay, so that's a good sign. Doesn't mean we're going up only, but Bitcoin is trading very similarly to how the Russell is moving right now. The Nasdaq losing support. So this is the concern as well. So pushing onwards and upwards here on the 1 hour. Okay. We have a range here. So this could be retesting the highs, as I always like to point out. Right. We could be looking to retest the highs and continue up here. We do have momentum to the upside right now that looks to be broken, retest, and pushing down. However, if we hold here, then it's okay. If we don't hold here, we're looking much lower, right? So typically this is like an Adam and Eve, right? Breaks down. Okay, if you can see that, you can see that. But that means we would come down and retest back down here. So watching these closely, the S&P, it gapped up today. So naturally the S&P, whenever it gaps, we always look for that gap to be filled. Okay, so we look here at price action and you can see the gaps just like CME, right? Whenever price moves, right? So we left a gap behind here. So that typically is going to get filled later on. You push up, you fill the gap, right? You push up, you fill this gap. You come back down, you fill this gap. We've gapped up today, so we're looking to come back down and then push out before we head upwards. Okay, that's something that I use for trading in the morning. That's why I always get excited at 9:30 because we can see which way we have gapped on the S&P and how to take advantage of that price action. A lot of the times, if we gap above, we look to fill, right? If we gap below, we look to fill, right? And it's a way of trading to understand which way the market wants to move eventually. Sometimes you gap and you continue, but a lot of the times you come back for that gap eventually. And being able to do that, you can get some confidence on what side of the trade you want to be on. Now, the hard pill to swallow, I guess, in the market right now, and what no one understands is the dollar. Okay. No one understands this right now. Since the job reports came in, we have gone up only, really. So we were looking for the Dixie to break down, right? This psychological 100-point level for the Dixie, teetering all the way down here, coming down here, bullish divergence, bottoming structure. I guess a nice Wyckoff accumulation within this area, and then pushing out for only up only, which is, right now, in my opinion, we can see a little bit of hopium here with a double top. But this does not want to stop. This trend does not want to stop. We want to see this breakdown so that risk on goes up, meaning people holding less dollars and more assets, right? But I think this is very much due to election and war. I think that's why this is doing that. So things to keep your eyes on. Another thing, you see that altcoins are kind of struggling right now. You go around the world. I'm actually looking for a potential SUI long right now. I haven't shared it out to my Discord yet, but I guess you guys are going to get privy to this information. But I am looking for a SUI long right now at these lows for a potential bounce. Okay, we've come down to key levels of support. We know this is a bullish token, right? So I'm looking for a potential bounce here on SUI. I don't know if we'll get it, but something I'm keeping my eyes on right now for trading for a bounce. If we get a bounce on Bitcoin and it continues to push, I could see this rotating. But really, right now, dominance. Look at Bitcoin dominance, man. We're putting in a new high
Exactly.
as we speak, man. So Bitcoin, people love their Bitcoin, but not so much altcoins. So pretty wild to see this thing go. So keep your eyes on the prize, and the prize is right now Bitcoin.
That was about what I was about to ask you. Like, in fact, I just had it prepared here. You move faster, my friend. Here you go. This is what I was looking at. A bull flag, yes, on the dominance. And the question to alumni, and of course to you, but you're to lead the conversation somewhere. We still have 10 more minutes. Why would you be looking at dominance at this point? What would dominance be telling you about Bitcoin, and why you should be looking at dominance?
Because you want to know like where money's going kind of deal right now. Bitcoin has to lead the way. It's daddy, right?
Exactly. So, I mean, we're getting crazy close to that 60% mark, right? I mean, for me, that's kind of like a myth. It's just the previous mark, right, of the market. I mean, it's still a pretty important area,
It's the
right?
fib retracement. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, and we're getting closer and closer at the minute. At this point, we're at 59.72, right? Just to get to a 60, it's just a turnaround to get there, right? So are we gonna be having maybe an outflow of Bitcoin or dominance? Maybe we're gonna be having a kind of like a spike for altcoins. That is what I'm looking at for a possibility for altcoins as we are starting getting 60% to see a little bit of a dead risk on Bitcoin or risk on altcoins. That's what I'll be saying, and then seeing a couple of icons exploding. Right. Remember that's what I'm looking at. Also, 1inch. I'm looking at TRX. I'm looking at what else am I looking at here? Let me see. Link and Litecoin. So those are a couple of coins that I've been looking at, just in case I see that rush. But I need first to see Bitcoin making that movement to the upside, everybody taking profits, and then going to the altcoins. But other than that, I think this is going to be a great cycle for Bitcoin. A little bit delayed, of course, but I think it's going to make the opportunity for more people to jump in and make a profit. I think that is an important step on Bitcoin a cycle to make it feel like it's stable enough for newbies to not get wrecked or not get wrecked as they used to, right? Because man, I remember when I started jumping into Bitcoin, that was the second cycle. I mean, a 3% move that was chaotic, my friend. That was nothing like now. A 3% back in the day, that was, hey, say goodbye three times your wallet, right? And we didn't have any USDT to run through. So you bite in, you bite in, and that's it, right? I mean, you could do a BTX, and what was this site? I don't remember. But you can do a what I call a security short with no liquidation price. But that was hit or miss. I mean, that was hard. But yeah, I mean, I
Sounds super
think
sketchy.
yeah, completely, completely. Yes, that is. Oh man, digital right here on the side chat. Been watching OM. Oh, OM. I'm also been watching OM. Let me go live in that one. Also been watching OM. On Friday, on the 4 hours, we were talking about on the class of a possible allocation for long. Remember that OM was on a free fall, and I was telling you guys, hey, should we be jumping to OM long because everything was just dumping? What happened now? We had a beautiful bounce to the upside. Important to note is that we just created a lower high. And if we go to the daily, we can see it clearly here. This is scary for OM. This is scary for OM because right now we have the rooftop head here. We could be looking for a maybe something like this for my rooftop analysis. And the next possible trade will be somewhere around 124. So pump and dump could be it. And when I see pump and dump close to the dynamic reactor, we are into trouble. In fact, I still have another alerting here set up to my dynamic reactor on 1.1. So looking to long OM, but not at these areas. Not at these areas, just so you know. And by the way, this is my next possible area of entry, 134, just in case we come back to it. But yeah, looking at RM2, a little fish, really nice catch. Hopefully, it moves fast. Hopefully. Alex, do you have one more thing before we start wrapping up the class today?
I can take a look at FET if you want. Uh,
Absolutely.
I've taken some. I've taken 75% of this trade out right now. I don't know if it's. I'll take a breakout retest if it continues. Just so you guys know, if you followed, I I hope you guys do your own TA. But if you followed the long trade, right? So I've taken, because we've come up here. I've taken some out. If we do breakout and retest, okay, I can look to add. If we do swing failure pattern here, I can look to add. Okay, so just so you guys know, you got to manage your own trades. You got to have your own plan on how you execute your trades. I am not going to hold your hand. I try my best to help you and educate you, but looking at FET, yeah. So you're seeing the shoe pattern, aren't you, OC? You're seeing it. I know you are. So they're everywhere right now. So you go
Yes.
anywhere around, they're everywhere, right? So what are you waiting for here? You're waiting for a sweep and a higher high and a higher low. Very simple, right? Continuation, holding this low. Do you see a spring and then consolidation, then go? Possibly. But bottoming structure, that's what you're out here to find, right? Looking for this thing for continuation. So going into like a short-term time frame here, yeah, you're flagging out, you're sweeping the lows, right? So you turn on your indicator. Where are you looking? You're looking here to hold, okay? And then if you hold from here, you're looking for a bounce out of here and then a higher low, and that's where you want to get long. Not until then. Okay, double top here, M formation typically drops down. Your level would be at $1.19, that area right there. So if you do SFP down below here, you can look for continuation. Not until then. You want to see a reversal on something like this, going over to like a 4-hour, understanding where you're at. So you have support here at this key level. You've come all the way back down in an aggressive downtrend. So for me, it's really, I'd go from the high here. Sorry. Go from the high here, go back to the high here. That's connecting. And then I'd pull this down. You could also look for this to break and retest. Okay, another trade idea there. So if you do sweep, you don't have to get long here. You can wait for strength and then continuation. Okay, that's the safer trade in my opinion. Just waiting for something like that for bottoming structure. You can see that this is getting rejected at the 4-hour zero line, which does not show strength. It shows weakness, right? So something like this, you really want to be patient enough for this to bounce. That's pretty much where you're at. You want to see the bounce and continuation, and till then, you wait. You wait. Trading is waiting a lot of the time, right? If you don't want to wait, or if you're impatient, set alarms. Just go in and put a horizontal, okay, and put an alarm, okay, and wait again, and then get in and manage risk. Okay, you can't manage risk properly until you have significant structure. Okay, then you can go entry, stop loss, target, right? Keeping it simple. Okay.
Absolutely. So, guys, patience, patience, patience. It's really funny because I remember that back in the day, it was a Sunday dump and Monday pump. And kind of like we've been kind of extending that cycle till now it's a Monday dump and Tuesday pumps, right? It's kind of like hilarious to see. It makes me feel old, my friend, to see that I've been seeing the market evolve. But yeah, I have some. Oh, what? Perfect. I have some issues lately with YouTube lives. After 2 minutes, stop and displays an error. So the same thing happened to me. Same thing happened to me. Are you using Brave or are you using Chrome? It seems to be a Chromium based issue, but can be aggravated with Brave because it's blocking some cookies. Make sure to clear the cookies on Brave or reinstall Chrome. That got rid of the issue for me right away. But yeah, I did also went through that issue, so I just want to share that with you because it is freaking frustrating to say the least. But yeah, other than that, guys, thank you so much for joining. Alex, thank you so much. Hopefully, we can make a great trade throughout the week. I'm looking for a big movement. Today, yeah, I don't know if it's because my morning coffee is not here. I don't know. I'm just not feeling that pump, right? But we'll see. Yes, absolutely. Alex, thank you so much. Guys, thank you so much for joining. And as always, see you guys tomorrow.